The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered 12 covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into Wednesday, a little bit later than normal episode edition of the Bostonian versus the Book. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me and us on our socials at Boston versus the Book. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. We are replayed on Sports Grid Television, 10 p.m. Pacific time, 1 a.m. Eastern time each and every weeknight. If you're on the replay crew, thank you for being here. If you guys are live in the chat, welcome. Thank you for being here. Today is a test run for me because tomorrow I am having surgery. So I'm going to attempt to not use my right arm today because that's how I will be for the next 6 weeks as of tomorrow. We're taking off Thursday and Friday because I have to have surgery to repair an injury I suffered when I fell down the stairs at my house in June. So now we have to get this thing fixed, and it's going to be a 6-week process of not being able to use my right hand. I am right-handed, and you would be amazed at the number of things that for this program that I do that I need my right hand for. So this is going to be hard. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a difficult situation for me. So bear with me. If things are a little bit slower than normal, if we aren't firing as crisply as we normally do, if we're not hitting the marks like we normally do, understand that it is a work in progress for me as I get to the surgery tomorrow morning and then hopefully be back on Monday for us here with a fresh episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. Coming up today on the program, we've got our friends at Plannatech. They are back for another football season. Adam Bjorn, he's been with us for a couple of years now. He is back. Now, here's the thing. The reason why we pushed the show to 2 o'clock Eastern today, you guys on the replay, doesn't matter, but the live show, we're on an hour later. It's because Adam's flying. So he's going through customs right now in Jamaica. And as long as everything goes the way it's supposed to, he should be on the show in about 30 minutes. So we'll break down week one. I got a bunch of stuff to get to in week one myself before we'll talk to Adam, but we'll get to the book side of things. Action from week one in college football. What are they seeing already at Plannatech for week one in the NFL? Thursday, Friday, Sunday, big games to get into with Adam coming up here in about 30 minutes or so, as long as everything goes as planned for him down in Jamaica. I went through that April, right? So I know the customs he's going through. It can be hit or miss. Like it can be very quick. It can be not so quick. So fingers crossed that we're going to get Adam on the show today, but we'll see what ends up happening for him. But that's the plan for Adam Bjorn to join us in about 30 minutes of time. Before we get to the opening line, breaking news. Well, if you're a Jet fan, this is unbelievable. It just keeps on happening. The Jets believe that Elijah Vera Tucker is going to miss the entire 2025 season with a tricep injury. It will require surgery. I feel you, buddy. Vera Tucker was just voted a captain for the Jets and was poised to have a big year protecting Justin Fields. This is a huge blow to the Jets, their offensive line, and their game plan for this coming season, which essentially is to just play defense and run the football. I mean, that's pretty much what the Jets were going to do with Justin Fields and this offense. They've got one wide receiver to throw to. That's about it. And teams are going to try to take away Garrett Wilson at all costs. So now you have to go into a season here without one of your captains, without one of your studs, and a guy that you expected to be a massive contributor to your offensive line. And the Jets are now having to replace him right now. I mean, this is bad. if you're a Jet fan. And Joel, maybe the Jets weren't doing anything anyway. That's fine. Maybe the Jets were going to be awful and the Jets weren't going to be good. But it is, if you're a Jet fan, you're going, really? Like, it's Wednesday. The season begins on Sunday. We lose one of our best players overall. Elijah Vera Tucker is a really good player for the Jets. You lose him on Wednesday, and he is now out for the entire season for the New York Jets. So it just feels like, typical Jets. New year, same Jets. We'll see what they look like with Justin Fields and Aaron Glenn being the coach and everything else going on in New York. But that is not what you wanted to have happen if you're a Jet fan today. That is not the news you wanted to see, with Elijah Vera Tucker out for the year with a tricep injury that will require surgery. So me and you, I got you. I'm right there with you. If you guys have not signed up for our BVB ATD Survivor contest, today's kind of like the day, right? The 7th is the official deadline, but this is the last time I'm going to be talking to you guys. So if you haven't done this, if you haven't signed up, you haven't gone to splashsports.com/BVB, it's a $25 entry, 5 max per person. And if you've not seen this as of yet, this is going to be a Survivor contest for anytime touchdown. Okay. Scoring, not picking a team to win. You're picking a player to score a touchdown. If we fill this, and we haven't done a good job of filling this so far. So this is our third one of these. And so if we fill it, it's 11,000, winner take all. Who knows how long this will go for? I mean, realistically, this thing could be over quickly, and you could be getting your money like in October for this if you pick 5 winners and everyone goes out with this. So the first week, you're going to pick 2 to guarantee that you get it past at least the first week of the season. And then it goes from there. And 5 entries per person, $25 entry per a rushing or receiving touchdown. Those are the 2 things you have to do on your screen. You're going to see where Splash Sports is legal. Sorry, Pennsylvania. They've got the private contests that are available, but not the public ones. Everywhere except Quebec in Canada, you are also legal. I know everybody waits until the very last end to join these things, but it's $25. It's a Survivor contest. If you haven't done one of these before, it's a fun way to spend your afternoon watching the NFL, because you can just follow one player if you want and see if that player will score a touchdown. And if he does, you advance to the next week. You'll pick one in an alternate each week, and then we'll see who winds up winning this thing. So it's winner take all. So we'll see how many entries we wind up getting, but it could be $500. It could be $5,000, depending on how many folks get into this. So once again, it is splashsports.com/BVB to enter the BVB ATD Survivor contest. This is going to be a lot of fun, and this will be the last reminder for you guys. Yes, Jimmy, you can invite anyone you want. You can go and get anyone you want. It's open to anyone and everyone. So it doesn't matter. They don't have to be a brigade member. It can be anyone in your family. It can be anyone of your friends. Could be anyone over the age of 21. I believe you got to be 21 in most states, but in some states it's 18. So check your state laws. But go ahead. Anyone that's available who's of age to be a part of this. So, get your email list and send it out to everyone. It's on the Discord channel. There's a direct link on the Discord channel. I'll post it each morning, or at least I'll attempt to. I don't know how I'm going to use my phone with my left hand. I haven't realized how much I use my right hand for my phone usage. This is not good. So I got to figure out how to do that. But that's, one of those things. I'll try to do this. I'll try to move this around and post it on our Discord channel with my left hand. Maybe you guys can help me out a bit on that and post it to the next couple of days to remind folks to be a part of this, to get it. Left-handed texting. I don't know, CBW. I'm clicking everything with my left hand for the show today, and it's so awkward. It just doesn't feel right. And I'm slow with it. On top of that, I'm not quick. I have to really make sure I'm watching and clicking the right things, unfortunately. So splashsports.com/BVB. Come in, be a part of it. It's the last I'm going to remind you of this, because come Monday when I come back, it'll be closed. September the 7th is your deadline. Basically, I think it's 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. So right up basically almost to kickoff on the 7th of September. for this to be a part of it and get in, be a part of it. Jimmy Football's in. Hopefully you guys will be in it as well for our pick a touchdown score. Anytime touchdown score BVB Survivor contest with our friends at Splash Sports. I had fun doing the top 5 list yesterday for college football for the most unhinged things that we saw in week 1 of college football. So I thought it might be fun to do one for the NFL. These are my top 5 storylines that I'm watching, things that I'm the most curious about. Top 5 heading into the upcoming NFL season. All right, opening line, the 5 things that I am the most curious about. Top 5 storylines for the upcoming NFL season. Let's start with number 5, and some of them are kind of generic, but number 5, I am very curious to see what the Cowboys are going to look like on Thursday after the Micah Parsons trade. Everyone has issued their comments. We're going to see more of these stories. The Micah Parsons displayed strange behavior in lead up to the blockbuster Cowboys-Packers trade because everyone's going to try to win this, right? Jerry Jones is going to try to win this. Cowboy, brass are going to try to win this. And they're going to leak this out as to like, we told you so. This guy's a problem. This guy was a cancer, and we had no choice but to move off of Micah Parsons. I don't know how that goes over by the Cowboys. If they get destroyed by the Eagles, and this number is all the way up to 8.5, if the Cowboys go into Philadelphia on banner night and they lose the game by 14 to 21 points, and their defense is absolutely gashed, and Saquon Barkley goes for 200 yards and Jalen Hurts throws for 3 touchdowns, and it's just an absolute disaster, well, then I'm probably going to be wrong about the Cowboys. Because I actually really do like Matt Eberflus a lot. I think Matt Eberflus is going to have that defense playing better than people think. And I think Matt Eberflus is going to have turnovers, which were really his calling card as a D coordinator and head coach in Chicago, that he's going to be turning the football over for this offense and giving Dak Prescott short fields to be able to go and utilize the receiving core and the weapons that Dak Prescott has. So that's my philosophy for the Cowboys this year and why I don't trust the Commanders' defense. I don't like it at all. I think Jaden Daniels could take a step backwards, and all the Commander love I don't really agree with. I think the Eagles, we'll talk about more on the Eagles in a little bit, but I think the Eagles have some questions going into the year that I need to have answered. So how will the Cowboys look without Micah Parsons? And will it be that big of a change? If it is, they could be in trouble. But if Eberflus is saying, hey, you know what? I like the guy, but I got some plans for this defense. We're going to be okay. Then let's see it. Number 4, the Bills. They are favored in every game this year. They're the only team in the NFL to be favored in every game so far on their schedule. Now, they're not going 17-0, but if you want to talk about windows, what is the window for the Bills, if not right now? Like, this is it for Josh Allen and the Bills. If they aren't going to win a championship, if they aren't going to win an AFC championship, if it's not now, when are they going to win a championship? This is set up perfectly for the Bills. We haven't spent an offseason talking about Buffalo, right? We've talked about everyone else really except for the Bills. It's all about Lamar and the Ravens and Kelsey and Taylor and the Chiefs and Patrick and all that, right? The Bills have kind of flown under the radar, but the Bills are favored in every game. The Chiefs aren't favored in every game. The Eagles aren't favored in every game, but the Bills are. Now, they're not going 17-0, but what will their record be and what will they look like? What is the final record and where do we see the Bills at the end of the year? Is this the year for the Buffalo Bills to finally get to a Super Bowl and or win the Super Bowl? The books like the Bills a lot. They are favored in every single game. Number 3, I've talked a lot about this. The Eagles and their luck regression. I think it's going to happen. The Eagles opened up 2-2 on the year, and they turned around and they won 16 of their final 17 games on their way to a dominant championship. But the numbers you're seeing down at the bottom of your screen at the moment, this is a metric that has been designed by a guy named Aaron Schatz. And he's done the AGL, which is adjusted games lost. The Eagles ranked 10th best on offense for adjusted games lost, meaning low number. They were second best on defense in the entire NFL. Only the Ravens, in terms of when you combine the offense and the defense, only the Ravens lost fewer games to injury than the Eagles did. And people like the Ravens in a regression situation as well, because they equally could have their luck change and their luck turn and not be nearly as lucky and fortunate when it comes to the injuries. I think it changes. I think Saquon Barkley is going to get hurt this year at some point. I don't think you could run him as much as they ran him last year without those injuries that really plagued him throughout his career with the Giants. It didn't happen in year one. I think in year two, I think this happens in year number 2. Does Jalen Hurts stay healthy the whole year? He got a concussion at the end of the year last year, but mostly Jalen Hurts was healthy and effective. A.J. Brown, effective and healthy. I mean, they were very lucky when it came to their offensive line and their defensive line on top of that. Don't think that happens for the Eagles this year. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, the Eagles on paper are the best team in football. Like, let's just be honest. If I'm right, they're going to have some problems. But if I'm wrong and the Eagles stay healthy, it's hard to see them not having a really, really good season. Number 2, are the Broncos ready? Are they ready? Because everyone is loving on the Broncos to be a Super Bowl contender. I'm on the over 9.5 wins. Our guy Debro is on them to win the AFC West. I think this team's defense is really good. They broke the drought last winter and making the postseason, and now Sean Payton and company, his daughter's engaged. Everything's coming up roses at the moment for the Denver Broncos. Are they ready? Are they ready to take the best shot and not be underestimated? Because they have been. At least last year, it was like, it's Broncos. Okay, don't worry about the Broncos. Like, it's Bo Nix. Come on. I mean, Bo Nix, the guy that flamed out at Auburn and went to Oregon and like overperformed. That guy, Bo Nix, is going to hurt people. Yeah. Bo Nix hurt a lot of people. The receiving core hurt a lot of people. Defense was tremendous. Secondary was great. Offensive line was dominant. Does that continue? Is that where we are? Because if the Broncos are ready, and they're ready for the intensity, and they're ready for the spotlight, they're going to be a problem. They've always had a massive home field advantage due to the altitude and due to the environment. It stinks to play in Denver. It is a hard place to go and play. And so they've got a shot. They can win on the road, and they won on the road last year. And they've got the Chiefs coming in, obviously, and they've got some big home games. They got a running game that's going to be highly effective and a pass rush that could really be a problem. Ish is pretty excited. Super Bowl bound, baby. Maybe. I'm not telling you, I'm not going to stand here and say you're wrong about that. I'm not going to, say there's no way. They've got all the pieces and they have the head coach. I think the biggest question mark for me is Bo Nix, but he's played so well in this system for Sean Payton. It's hard to say that that's not going to happen. Like, I don't know. They got a shot. Denver's got a shot. No debate there. They got a shot. And number 1 for me, for storylines, I'm the most curious about going into the year. What are we going to see out of the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes? Are they going to change what has been a slow and steady regression by Patrick Mahomes in this offense? It's kind of not even a secret anymore. it's kind of like a known secret that this offense is not explosive. That this offense is questionable, which is kind of nuts. The Athletic put together Patrick Mahomes' air yards per attempt, meaning how far the ball travels per attempt for Patrick Mahomes. In 2018, that number was 9.1 yards per pass. Average. In 2020, that became 8.3. In 2022, that was down to 7.3. And then in 2024, Patrick Mahomes' average yards per attempt was down to 6.3 yards per pass attempt. That's a lot of dinking and dunking. That's not what made Mahomes Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes, sure, they opened up 15-1 last year. I mean, absolutely, they opened up 15-1. But this offense, if they don't change that, they're not going to be back in another Super Bowl. And they just got embarrassed by the Eagles. They got destroyed by the Eagles. And so the Patriots never lost like that. Brady never lost like that. We've never seen a quote unquote dynasty end with a thud like that, unless they are going to throw the ball and get back to what made Mahomes and company so deadly. He's a commodity. They don't want him running around like crazy. They don't want him taking 7-step drops and standing there and waiting for a defensive end to take his head off. So they designed an offense that is a lot of quick passes, a lot of screen passes, a lot of things to Kelsey over the middle, 5-6 yards, just move the football down the field. I mean, 15-1 is 15-1. They went to the Super Bowl. All those things are true, but the numbers don't lie about what this offense has looked like. And I don't care what Matt Nagy says about what this offense is going to look like this year. I mean, they've already lost one of their best receivers for the first 6 games of the year. They're opening on the road in Brazil up against a Charger defense that could be really formidable. So CBW, I mean, if you're going to put the Patriots dynasty to start in 1986, there's a lot of people that are going to have a problem with you. The Patriots dynasty did not begin in 1986. It began 14 years later. So that's a long time. Okay. That's a long time. And yeah, Brandon, absolutely. They lost their deep threat. They never replaced Tyreek Hill. They've never looked the same. The offense has been different. They've won without him, but they haven't looked the same. So I'm talking about the dynasty Patriots, the Brady Patriots, CBW, not the whole thing. The Patriots were the worst team in football in the 80s. The Chiefs were the worst team in football in the 90s. Okay, I'm not talking about historic. I'm talking about the new look dynasty Patriots, the 20-year dynasty. Brady in the 9 Super Bowls, right? Never got beat like that. So that's the difference, I think, as we come out of this year. The Eagles, where they go, where do we see the Chiefs? Do we see the Cowboys keep going? And are they going to be successful without Micah Parsons? The Broncos, where are the Broncos? Cannot wait to see what the Broncos are going to look like. And then the Buffalo Bills. Is it now their time? Is it Buffalo's time to finally win a championship, or at least play for one? At least get to Santa Clara, at least get to Levi Stadium, play for it. You can lose it, but at least play for it. For Josh Allen's career, get to a Super Bowl. Not sure that's going to happen this year, but for the Bills, it's not this year. When will it be? More football coming up in the program. Adam Bjorn set to join us, and also I got a whole ton of plays to give you guys coming up here. We'll do that as we wait for Adam, but first, let's talk about what happened last night. All right, I don't know if this actually went down, but it sure is being talked about like it went down. Did Framber Valdez intentionally throw a 90-mile-per-hour sinker at his catcher to not and to cross up his catcher intentionally. He denied this, intentionally hitting his catcher, because, well, his catcher, Cesar Salazar, wanted Framber to throw one pitch. Framber wanted to throw a different pitch. The catcher was right. Valdez gave up a grand slam. And then 2 pitches later, it looked like he intentionally crossed up his catcher to have the ball hit him. And I've seen a lot of former and current Major League Baseball players say that if he did this, this was really dirty. Like, this was really, really dirty if Framber actually did this. And he's been accused of doing this before. The chat thinks he did. 1,000% Santana. JPC says he most certainly did. Rookie can't sacrifice his position. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is going to be, I guess yeah. I don't know if Framber Valdez is going to be a liability for the Astros down the stretch, but this is not what you want to be having a conversation about if you're the Astros. You don't want to be talking about whether or not your catcher and pitcher got into a big time fight, essentially, in front of everybody. Rincon said, scumbag move. He had no reaction like he meant to hit a batter. He did kind of stare in. If you watch the replay, he did kind of stare in. And everyone who watched it thought it was that he did actually try to do that. So where's that clubhouse today? If you're an Astros fan, your team's leading the division. Your team's got a big time fight on its hands with the Mariners, and one of your best pitchers. And we talked about it yesterday. I took the over in the game. I took over 7.5. It fell 8. So I got lucky there, but it was a 7-1 win for the Yankees. The Yankees destroy left-handed pitching. The Astros do as well. But Max Fried pitched pretty well last night. It was just the grand slam off Framber. The Yankees got to him early, and they hammer left-handed pitching. And then Framber, who was being stubborn, the catcher wanted something else. The catcher was ultimately there. You don't apologize if you didn't mean to do it. Interesting thought. He said he didn't mean to do it, and he didn't really apologize to him per se. It was just, I'm really sorry that happened. It wasn't like, I did it, so I'm sorry. It was more like, I'm sorry that went down. But if you're asking me what happened, he intentionally did it. Like, I'm with you guys. I think he intentionally did it, which is so bad. So bad that he intentionally did it. Ohtani watch. I like the old one. I like the double hat Ohtani watch. That's why I played it. Because the new one's this one. I think I like the old music better too. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nostalgic. Ohtani watch. Solo home run for Ohtani becomes the hardest hit ball ever recorded in the StatCast era. It was his 100th home run as well in a Dodger uniform. 120 miles per hour off the bat for Shohei Ohtani. I mean, whoa. 120 miles per hour. It left the ballpark in a blink. Like an absolute blink. And the Dodgers are going to need him to be that version. Look, I can't wait to see what the Dodgers do with him in the playoffs. Are they going to ask him to pitch? You would think that they're going to. But when he's not pitching and he's just hitting, he is unreal. And I would just have him hit. I know the Dodgers need a lot of help pitching-wise. I know the Dodgers are a mess pitching-wise. But I just don't think he's a better hitter at the moment. You can use him in a closing situation, in a spot start, an opener. If you have a deciding game, have him come in and pitch 1 or 2 innings or something along those lines. But I think this rotation that they got him on right now, it's taking away from his ability to be a great, and frankly, he's not a great pitcher right now. He's a good pitcher, but not a great pitcher right now, but he's a great hitter. And I mean, 100 home runs already in a Dodger uniform is stupid. Like, that's just, I mean, you're kidding me. He's played 2 years with the Dodgers, got 100 home runs. The blink of an eye. 120 miles per hour off the bat is one of the craziest things I've seen, heard. Even, when Major League Baseball players say it sounded different off his bat, when they say something like that, it was 120 miles per hour. It just absolutely flew off his bat last night from a solo home run perspective. His 100th home run as a member of the Dodgers. I think we got our guy. I think our guy came through customs. I think he's good to come and be on the program. Adam, how are you? Are you jet lagged, my friend?
No, it's a quick little hop over the water there. But Jesus Christ, Jamaica need to get their baggage carousels right. It took me over an hour to get me bag out. So I'm glad you, delayed it a little bit from the original start time.
We're all good. Thank you for being here. Great to have you back for another football season. I've now been in that airport, so I can relate to what you just went through. I was there in April.
There you go.
So I know what that was like. It took us a while to get our bags. It took us a while to get through customs too. So I was like, you may be here a little late, just knowing that I've been through the custom situation before. So good to have you. Good to see you. Thank you for doing this and coming on. Let's talk about week 1 in college football real quick here for you guys. I mean, how big was the Texas decision? How much money were you guys looking at from a Texas side of things? And when Ohio State winning, how big of a story was that for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that was our biggest game of the day. And I know on my Twitter feed before the preview of the early games, looking at where the square money was, where the sharp money was, that was the play of the day, Ohio State. I mean, it was a massively bet game. And then, it only got bigger from the live betting. And I mean, all in all, the weekend was, not as good as one could hope for or expect after the shitty season last year. What
was the second biggest? Because I know some books had some big liabilities on the Clemson LSU game. Some are really big on the Notre Dame game. And I know the week went well, but like other than the Texas Ohio State game, what were the other games that went well for you guys?
Yeah, the LSU one, the money line was big there. When I was going through that as well, sort of a side note of the money line was just a big bonus if they happened to win straight up. And then Notre Dame, Miami, that was the following day, right? And that was sort of the big game of that day. I mean, this week's college was just so well spread out. Whenever you do single games, like Monday Night Football, Thursday, single college games in the evening that are big games, the live betting is just extraordinary these days. And it's just, you get all the pregame action and then it just builds on top of that.
Yeah, so that's what we've got obviously coming up here for Thursday. Eagles and the Cowboys on Thursday. First game of the season. It's banner night. It's 2 marquee franchises. I mean, what are you looking at from an action perspective for Thursday night?
It's all Philly. It's just like, we're at about 70% of the money's on the Eagles, 75% of the sharp money's on the Eagles. It's money line, it's all one-way action. Total, there's not a lot right now. But on the Eagles, we're getting people laying the 9.5 at big odds and the 11.5. And, they're taking the big minuses at the big dog prices as well. So they just seems like they're expecting Dallas as a no-show and just to get ripped the first game of the year.
So there's no Dallas Cowboy money at all in the market. You aren't seeing anybody trusting the Cowboys.
I mean, you get some scraps on there. And again, you move that number high enough and you'll find someone that likes the other side for some value and whatnot. But we're going to need Dallas for a decent amount right now.
What's your liability on the Eagles to repeat? Because we haven't seen a repeat champion. It's hard to do it, to go back-to-back. The Chiefs did it, but it's not common for a team to go back-to-back. Do you have much liability on the Eagles in the futures market?
No, they're actually a decent winner for us. Most of the money we've seen come in is Pittsburgh has been heavily bet.
Wow, really?
Buffalo Bills is probably the worst result. And then, oddly enough, on our prime suspects yesterday, tip Bills Lions Super Bowl. So I do not want the Bills to win. Looking at the chart right now, but and I think the other one was San Francisco's been decently bet. But yeah, the Eagles aren't getting much money right now.
Anybody like the Cowboys, either win total or anything? You have any liability on the Cowboys, or am I completely off my rocker here thinking the Cowboys may be better than people think?
I think there's a little bit on the division, but we're getting a lot of Giants action actually on the division at big odds.
Wow.
For their season wins, no, there's not a lot on them. I was just pulling up to see, a bunch of the different teams and what where they're at right now. But let me bring up Dallas quickly. So at the 7.5, where most of it's sort of 7.5 under 30-40, it's fairly well balanced, and the pros are hitting the under. Like 80% of the money is on the under 7.5, and then at 8.5, you're getting a little bit of money on the over 8.5 at big odds in the 2-1 plus. And then I think the other number they hung was 6.5, which has really got minimal action.
Right on that. So when you guys look and you go into an NFL season, what's the first 2 weeks like for you as a bookmaker in the NFL? I mean, is it just drinking out of a fire hose for you in terms of how much action you guys will see over the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, first week, who knows? I mean, these preseason games are becoming more and more worthless to really gauge anything of any real nature.
Right.
It's really just take the bets, move the line. And NFL, I mean, these numbers have been up for 6-7 months. As soon as that schedule comes out, you start seeing some numbers. It's really fairly well settled. You'll get a little, I'm seeing dribs and drabs come in yesterday and this morning, and you'll get most of the rec players will come in, Saturday, Sunday, whatnot. But it's really just close your eyes, take the bets, move the number, and hope the results fall.
Do you like the Friday standalone game? How well does that do from a handle perspective?
Standalone games are great. I don't think it matters what day of the week it is. When you have a standalone game, like just the live betting, going back 3-4 years ago, it was still kind of 80-20 pre-game stuff like that. But I'm hearing numbers where, some of the places are ticking up around 55, even to 60% live action versus pre-game these days on these mainstay US sports, which, 10 years ago, tennis and international basketball was 90-95% live. But these, American sports were still very much driven by pre-game. It's starting to flip, and you're just seeing the standalone games, especially in the NFL, is just so much good action both ways. It's just, they're really good games to write bets on.
What does that do from a pregame number perspective? If we're seeing 55 or even 60%, if it's almost 50-50 split live versus pre, does that impact the way the numbers will be made? Will we see lines be, I don't want to call them softer, but are books more focused on making sure their in-game numbers are going to be less volatile if we have that much action on in-game?
So one thing I haven't really heard or seen in the US sports is the pre-game manipulation. For many, many years on a tennis match, knowing that you can get so much volume live and the way that models work, people would manipulate that pre-game line to know that as soon as it went live, the books would use that closing line as their base, and then their models would run off that. So you could sort of offset the pre-game, and it didn't take much volume. NFL, a lot harder. Again, I think that, the numbers are strong. You have a lot of traders that, they trust the models, but they have, a lot more influence over what those numbers are. On the college football, most of the things aren't live. You can't actually see pictures. So you're running off, data numbers coming through. So you got to sort of trust the model and trust the data on that. But really, it's getting to a point where just whack up a number pre-game, let them bet, get to where it needs to be. And then for these standalone games, you're really going to, write as much, if not more, on live. So you just got to sort of, buckle in and get ready for that. And it's taking bets. I mean, it's really not a
Right.
rocket science and real hard. And the advantage for us is we're taking real bettors. So we have arbors identified. We have originators identified. So we know that a professional player originator comes in on the live, or if they're bet pregame, we kind of know where it is. We've got the number. They come in live on one way. And if you see them flip mid-game to the other way, then there's, the model sort of overextended one way and things like that. So it's really just looking at the bets and just moving that number as you need to, as you sort of get a feel for who's coming in and playing which sides.
We know that sides and totals obviously are gigantic in game, but what are you seeing from a prop maker perspective? And do you guys put up live props in game for people to bet on?
Yeah, we don't have a broad. We're still very much meat and potatoes, but we do a lot of the race points. So first to 7, first to 10, first to 14, stuff like that. Okay. So you get some interest there. The play-by-plays, or what's the what will the next drive end in, and things like that. We're starting to sort of tap into those, but you just write so much on the main game. If you really have a good number, good uptime, where you're up as much as possible, you just write so much volume in those things that the other stuff's, it's nice to have. But for our, mainstay of players, they're really looking for, first halves, quarters, those kind of things you do live. But really just having a good, strong number, and the uptime is the key to it all the time.
When you're looking at a game in Brazil, obviously the U.S. audience doesn't care. It's on their TV set. But does the game being in Brazil make it a more difficult game to hang a number because it's being played in a foreign country?
No, it doesn't matter where it's being played. Generally, again, you'll have neutral games wherever whether it's London and things like these, and especially in the NFL, it really comes down to the travel and understanding that, which both teams at the start of the season, they've gone down there probably similar times. I don't know if there's really any home crowd team in these teams that are playing down there. It's you hang the number, and those are pretty staple diets of what you need to do.
I just can't believe it's the Chiefs and the Chargers. It's such a big football game. It's such an important football game for the AFC West, and they're playing it in Brazil. I can't get over the fact that the Chargers had to give up a home game against their biggest rival and the Chiefs to go down there. But I mean, it should be a gigantic game, a huge game. Are you guys heavy on the Chiefs? I mean, what's the action looking like here for Chiefs Chargers on Friday?
Let me have a quick look on this one. Bring it up. Mess. No, it looks fairly well balanced at the moment. There's slight lean to the Chiefs. There was a bit more at the 2.5. Now the numbers sort of settled at 3. On the sharp side of it, again, there was some early action at 2.5, and a couple of people have bought down, but it's a pretty quiet one at this stage compared to the rest of the weekend.
Interesting. Okay. So Saturday, we've got week 2 of college football. I don't know if there's any numbers that jump out at you, because the schedule is so much worse than week 1. I mean, this is not even like close to what we saw in week number 1. Are there any numbers flashing on your screen for Saturday?
One of the ones, like North Texas over Western Michigan, has been fairly heavily bet. There was a bit of 7.5 going up that. It's now 10. So that was the big thing between last week and this week is, last week the numbers were hung in June. I saw some of the games where the college. Yeah. So when I was going through the numbers and sort of saying, well, this is very heavy this side, once you dove into it, you sort of say, well, we got a lot of that action in July or 2-3 weeks ago, early August. Whereas these are fresh numbers, and, it's really only what's happening this week. But that one's moved a bit. Cincinnati, Bowling Green, it's all Cincinnati there. I was trying to see if there's any. Illinois Duke is a pretty heavy bet game. It's like 70% on Illinois. Yeah, just dive in and look a bit closer.
How about Michigan and Oklahoma? What's that appears to be the biggest game of the weekend, with Michigan on the road at Oklahoma.
Let me see where that one is.
Should be 5.5, 6, or somewhere in that range for that. But I know folks, including folks in our chat, that like Michigan plus 5.5 on this game coming up on Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So we're definitely heavy on Michigan. If I dive into it a little bit, again, there's some +7, +6.5, the bulk of it at +6, and then a big chunk at +5.5. But then as soon as it hit 5 and even 4.5, it started to come back the other way. So I guess as long as it doesn't land on about 6 right now, we'll be okay.
No middling. You don't want to have that number fall between the two. It is funny though, because I think a lot of bettors, at least what I've talked to, is that like they're so excited for Thursday and Friday that they forget that Saturday is going to be here, because then it's Sunday. It's the first weekend of the NFL. It's week 1 for the NFL.
Yeah.
On Sunday, and anything jump off the screen for you? And anything that the pros are jumping in on for Sunday with the NFL in week 1?
So I noticed that where was it? Denver. A lot of action on Denver. It's really been bet hard. If I dive into that one a little bit, again, there was some early stuff at 5.5, 6.5, but the bulk of it is at 8, which is now at 9. But some have bought it up to 9.5 and 10 on the other side. But the biggest game of the day, clearly at the moment, will be needing the Titans.
Oh gosh!
And
at every number, are the pros taking the Titans at any number? Or are we just racing one-way action with Denver?
It's just Denver. Yeah, there's really not. As I said, a couple of people bought up to 10. There's a little bit of 9.5. And then the other one that the pros, or the masters as we call them, are really jumping into are the Patriots.
Whoa.
If I look at that one, they're
taking the Raiders, or taking the Patriots?
They're taking the Patriots at the -2.5 where they're playing there. So,
well, that's interesting. I think that's my team. I think the Patriots are going to lose. I think the Raiders might win the game out. The Raiders might win the game outright. I like my team, but I'm not sold in week 1. I'm worried about the Raiders going to New England and beating the Patriots. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like it's a little bit too much too soon for the Patriots. Everyone expecting them to be really good, and I don't know.
Right. And then the other big game I'm seeing is the Rams. The Rams, pretty well balanced overall money, but on the master side, it's like the side -2.5, laying 14-15 is where the bulk of that money is, and there's about 82% of our master money is on the Rams there at that 2.5.
Okay. I know people liking the total in that game to go under. Is there any action on that?
Yeah, so that's about 98% is under.
Okay. Yeah, it's a pretty popular live stream at the moment, or play to go to the under. JPC is asking, you're in Jamaica now, right?
Correct. I'm in my office in Jamaica. Yep. I've got my best photos up the back on the wall, and this is
How are the horses doing? How are you doing in that world?
They're going all right. I've got the big one sort of set up for the race in December. He won a race in April, which means he automatically gets in. He's had a few leg issues, so we've sort of got him at the beach at the moment, just prepping for that. Again, he's in the gate already, so he just needs to be healthy and last it. He's also only 4. So he's probably got another 2 or 3 years at that big race as well. So we're not looking to overextend him for this year, but ideally I'd like to get him in the gate and, hope to recoup some of the bad juju that we had in last year's race.
Is that big race in Jamaica, or is it off island?
No, it's in Jamaica. It's actually this year's December 6th, which is my son's birthday. So I'm actually bringing him over for the race. So really hoping that we can put something together that day.
Very cool. That's going to be awesome. For you, back to football for a second. Anything that you like personally for this weekend? Anything that your eyes going towards?
No, I haven't really looked at much of it at the moment. I'm really trying to work out who am I going to play in my survivors. I don't get too wrapped up in the millions, but I get all the entries, and I'll dabble in it, whatnot. But my thing's really the survivor and where to spend that this week. And
if you had to pick one,
week at least.
I'm not holding you to it, but if you had to pick one this week, who do you think you'll be leaning towards on Sunday or Saturday to take in Survivor?
I mean, I think Denver's the easy one to at least put, 5 or 6 of that 10 in that and just sort of ride that. Hopefully, I've never picked the Thursday night games. I always just get it in Friday, whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see, maybe Dallas win. And by the time we get to Sunday, there's a big chunk going already. So last year was such carnage. I really hope it's like that again, because it makes it way more exciting, even if you lose a few entries on the way.
I'm with you on Denver, but it feels very similar to the Patriots and the Bengals last year, where the Patriots were 7.5-point road dogs. Everyone thought they were dead in the water. Drake May and Jacoby Brissett, and then they walked into Cincinnati and they beat the Bengals. I'm putting all my Survivor plays are on Denver. I'm with you, but I'm like, my gosh, it's early, and I think week 1 is going to be as topsy-turvy as what we saw last year, with just games that we think go one way and then go in a complete opposite direction. I don't know if they're going to do a buyback like they did before, because 35% went out in week 1. I don't know if they'll do that again, but that would be an interesting look, because we're going to be at 20. I think 20 million is going to be in the pool for Survivor. So they're going to get to 20. And then the Grandissimo has up to, they may get 50 players in the $100,000 one, which is like, they thought it's a lot. It's a lot of money in that thing.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple of people about maybe joining up as a team or whatnot, but in the end, I just like, no, I'll play the other one and see how it goes. And I've got a bunch of on the road over the next month or so. So it's just, what, I'll concentrate on what I have, try and get through, a few weeks and then see how it goes.
Very cool. Adam, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate you jumping on, coming right out of the airport, coming on. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you for being a part of it. Best of luck to you guys this coming weekend.
All right. Cheers. You too. Thanks. Good luck with the surgery tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I might need it. I appreciate it.
Cheers. Later.
That's Adam Bjorn from Plannatech joining us here on the Bostonian version of the book. Great to get him on the program another year with us, with Plannatech and Adam talking Thursday football. It's Wednesday, but Thursday football. Good to get him on the program here. Everyone's going to be on Denver. I mean, I'm going to be on Denver. Everyone's going to be on Denver. I'm worried. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried. Let's do some picks. Break down some games here as we roll through week 1 of the NFL football season. All right, just the picks. Let's start breaking it down. So I have a bunch of slides we're going to put up here. We're going to go game by game, but let's just start here with Philadelphia and the Cowboys. All right, number at DraftKings is 8.5. You heard Adam talk about 9. Some books are at 9. Some books could go up to 9.5. I mean, where does this number end? I don't know how high of a number the books are going to have to put up before someone comes in and takes the Dallas Cowboys. 9 is where Adam is at Plannatech. 8.5 for DraftKings. Circa's at 8. Superbook's at 8. The total is 47.5. Okay. I don't know what to do for this game besides a same game teaser. I think points are going to get scored. I do. And I know that teasing is becoming incredibly expensive. And at some point, we'll talk to Adam, if not next week, about the price of teasers. So the teaser price at folks like DraftKings is now minus 135. So I'm 48. I do remember when I used to be able to tease for minus 110, and then it was minus 120, and then it was minus 130. And now it's 35 or 45 to buy a teaser. So you have to shop. Okay. You got to shop around. There are some books that are like, I think someone told me that Caesars is at 123, which is kind of a weird number, but Caesars is at minus 123. So there are some books that are keeping the price down that aren't making it extraordinarily expensive. I believe Circa's at 130, which I still yell at Benson for that. I think that that's not right. It should be lower. You should minus 120. If you want to pay charge somebody a premium for a teaser, that's fine. But I think 130 is too expensive and 135 is too expensive. It should be 120. So shop around. But I think you pull, and I would not wait till this thing gets to 9. I think there are books that are going to go to 9 as a teaser insurance for this game. I think you pull it down and you go Eagles minus 2.5. You pull the total down to 41.5 and you go over. The Cowboys are going to score, but the Cowboys are going to give up points. I can't see this being like a 20-17 type football game. I just can't. I think the Eagles put points up. I think the Eagles are going to throw a lot. And I think the Cowboys will move the football and the Cowboys will score. I like that same game teaser. Eagles minus 2.5 or 2 even, over 41.5 for minus 120, minus 125. That's about as high as I would go. Go Birds by Philly Vegas 37. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. The other play that I would make on Thursday night is in the prop market. And I think you go to Devontae Smith. Over 4.5 receptions for Devontae Smith. Now, he normally has 6, 5, or 4 catches almost every single game. Some games he goes off for 11. Other games he's shut down for 2. But for the most part, Devontae Smith is a big weapon. And I think he's going to be even a bigger weapon as the Eagles transition, at least at what they're saying to the pros, the media, whoever, that they're looking to transition away from running the ball nearly as much as they did last year. And they're going to want to throw more. So if they're going to pass more, I think Devontae Smith gets involved, and Devontae Smith has over 4.5 receptions, and the juice is pretty cheap. Is that minus 102? It's actually even money at certain books, but this is at DraftKings. It's minus 102. Yes. Over 4.5 receptions at minus 102 at DraftKings. You can shop around though. I saw a book at plus 105 this morning as well. So you can get plus money on Devontae Smith to go over 4.5 receptions. Okay. Not yards. It's receptions. Yeah. So at Bet365, Vinny's saying it's plus 115. So even better. You want to go with that. I just think if you look at the numbers for Devontae Smith, he's going to get targeted, and 4, 5, 6. So if he gets 5, we go over. He gets 6, we go over. He's going to be targeted 6, 7, 8 times in this game, I think, on Thursday against a opportunistic Cowboys defensive secondary with Diggs and company, but maybe not that sticky and maybe not that good at coverage. So I expect Smith to be in the passing attack, catching the ball quite a bit in that game against the Cowboys on Thursday night. We go to Friday. What do we do with the Chiefs and the Chargers in Brazil? DraftKings is at 3. Other books have been at 2.5, but they're at 3. Total at 46.5. I'm going to the first half market with this. And the way I have bet this game is that at FanDuel, they're 23.5 for the first half. And I'm going to bet under 23.5 for the Chiefs and the Chargers. Why? Well, neither quarterback played a lot in the preseason. And I think there's going to be a lot of bets on first half unders because the quarterbacks have not played much. So they're going to take some time to get back up to speed. Additionally, I think the Chiefs and the Chargers defenses are going to be better than their offenses, at least early. Maybe Mahomes has a bounce back year and he starts putting up big numbers. But we talked about it during the opening line about how Mahomes has not been throwing the ball deep all that much. Maybe Travis Kelce has a big time resurgence. Maybe this team goes back to throwing the football a lot. But I think the Chargers are going to limit possessions for Mahomes and company. They're going to run the football and play defense. And for the most part, the Chiefs are also playing football that way, to run the ball and play defense. So I think this game in the first half will go under. So under 23.5, foreign country, foreign field, foreign turf, everything coming into there. First half under 23.5 for the Chiefs and the Chargers. And then one prop bet that I like in this game on Friday, Mahomes to go under 35.5 attempts passing, not completions, attempts. Again, limited possessions, running the football, running the clock, low-scoring game, not a lot of offense, not a lot of passing. Both teams looking to run the football a lot, at least early in the game, thus not having Mahomes drop back and throw a ton of passes. I think Mahomes goes under 35.5 passing attempts. He'll wind up with 30 or 31, somewhere in that range, but I don't think he's going to drop back 40 times and just chuck the ball over the field, given what we have seen early from these offenses just simply being out of sync without playing all that much together. Patrick looked good in the time he did play in the preseason. He looked good, just didn't play a lot. Didn't see a lot of defenses, didn't see a lot of coverages. So it will take him a little bit. And I think because of the slow start in the first half, I think that sets us up for going under 35.5 passing attempts for Patrick Mahomes. We have more picks for Saturday and Sunday coming up in bonus time. If you want that and you guys are watching the replay on Sports Grid Television, come over to our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book and watch bonus time, which for you guys who are starting live, you get that right now. All right, let's continue it. So that's Thursday and Friday. So Thursday, and I am going to tease the Chargers up to +9. So I'm going to take the Chargers to +9. You can find a dance partner whenever you want, but I want 9. The Chiefs play 1-score games like crazy. I don't think that ends this year. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 3 and tease it up to 9 here for the Chargers. Dance partner will come here in just 1 second, but +9 for the Chargers is the other way that I'm going to play this coming up here for today. So that takes us to Saturday and the games on Saturday. Here are 5 games that I want to touch on quickly here in college football. I don't love the schedule by any means. I don't think I'm going to be heavily involved in this, but let's talk about Boston College on the road against Michigan State. The number at DraftKings is 4.5. BC looked really good in Bill O'Brien's debut. Looked really good. The transfer from Alabama quarterback that they've got at Boston College, kid can ball. Kid can throw. Going on the road, I have not been a big fan of Michigan State for a long time. Until further notice, I'm not laying points with Michigan State, and I think Boston College will be in the game. He'll be in the game. So I'm going +4.5 Boston College up against Michigan State to see what they're going to do here on the road. They may lose the game, but I think they'll probably lose the game by 3 or less. Give me the 4.5 for Boston College. Bet number 2. Let's look at Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech. This is wild, okay? I know Vandy on the road last year, not nearly as good, but Diego Pavia was ridiculous last year. And Vatek didn't look good to me. Vatek to be favored against anybody is really surprising. That number doesn't look right to me, that Vandy is +1.5. I like Vandy. I like Vandy to go there and get a win. I think Vatek, obviously playing in Blacksburg is difficult. It's the home opener. I get all that. But I bet on Vatek in their first game. I thought they would look good, and they looked like crap against South Carolina. I mean, South Carolina gave them every chance to stay in the game and win the game for that matter. And just in the fourth quarter, the Gamecocks took control of it and won the game. I was not impressed with Virginia Tech at all. And I like Vandy a lot. I like Vandy a ton in this game at +1.5. Give me Vanderbilt. Iowa State. It's the Cy-Hawk Trophy. Now, full disclosure, I laid 1 with Iowa State at the open because that number was wrong. Iowa State every year is 3. Every year it's 3. So I laid -1, -110 with Iowa State, knowing that number would be 3 by the time we got to today. That number's 3. Take Iowa +3. I'm just going to try to middle it. The Cy-Hawk game is legitimately a coin flip every year. And Iowa State looked really good last week. They won their game in Ireland. They're 2-0. And oftentimes when Iowa State is expected to do big things, Iowa comes in and takes down their pants and spanks them. It's just been the Iowa way. the Hawkeyes tend to own the Cyclones. Whenever there's some hype around Iowa State, the come back down to earth moment is when they play Iowa. I laid 1. I'll take +3. Let's have a 2-point win for Iowa State. Would be awesome. 20-18. Like, that would be great. Kick 6 field goals if you're Iowa. And 20-18 win is perfectly fine by me. I have -1. I'll take +3 for Iowa and Iowa State. Saturday continuing. Michigan, Oklahoma. 4.5. This number keeps on dropping. I wish I got involved earlier. Michigan +4.5, 5.5, 6.5. All those numbers are out there. Oklahoma -4.5. Nobody thinks the Sooners should be favored. And it all comes down to this defense, right? It all comes down to whether or not Oklahoma is going to be able to stop Michigan's offense and the running attack. I think people wanted to see whether or not Bryce Underwood could play. And I think they got their answer. Now, it was against a nothing team, but people liked what they saw out of Bryce Underwood. They liked what they saw out of this defense, and they, came around to my point. They came around to my point that Michigan's going to be pretty good. Michigan to win on the road against Oklahoma. Yeah, keep this number. Keeps on coming down, keeps on coming down, keeps on coming down. So we'll see what we wind up getting. But make this number more palatable, make this number, easier for me to bet. Great. Keep on doing it. It's kind of shocking, to be quite honest, that Oklahoma is still favored in this game. 4.5, 5, 5.5. I like the dog here with Michigan. And then finally, for the games on Saturday, UCLA and UNLV. UCLA, look, the new quarterback, the Tennessee transfer coming in, I wasn't in love with UNLV, though. I got to admit. I had not bet this game, but I think if I had to, I would lay it with UCLA. Barry Odom was a great coach. And I'm not saying Dan Mullins is a bad coach. I just think there's there's something different cooking right now with UNLV, with Dan Mullen at the head coaching spot versus what we saw. And look what Purdue did in game 1. And look how good Purdue looked in game 1. Odom's a hell of a coach. He really is a good coach. He knows what he's doing, understands how to install systems, understands what he's looking to do from a recruiting standpoint. Barry Odom's a really good coach. And so, again, Dan Mullen was doing TV last year. I'm worried about that game for UNLV. I think UCLA probably wins that game, and that stinks. Like, I as a UNLV person, employee, I would love to see it. I just I can't bring myself to say the UCLA loses that game to UNLV. Just on a talent perspective, I think UCLA wins that game. I hope I'm wrong. I haven't bet it, but that's the direction that I am leaning. All right, to the NFL on Sunday. Raiders Patriots. You heard Adam talk about pros on the Patriots. I hope the pros are right. I'm taking the 3 points with the Raiders. There's so much hype around the Patriots, and there's so much intensity around this team being way better. There's 14 new starters for the Patriots. The Patriots have 23 new players off their 53-man roster from last year. Like, okay, they might be good down the line, but out of the gate, game one, we're all going, yeah, that's going to be a guaranteed win for the Patriots at home. I hope you guys are right. I really do. I hope you guys are right. I think the Raiders win the game. I think Ashton Genty scores a touchdown. Anytime touchdown, Ashton Genty, -115. Bet that. I like that. This is not even a fan hedge. This is just, I know the Raiders have a lot of new faces as well, but Geno Smith is with Pete Carroll. Like, I'm more comfortable backing Pete Carroll in a revenge spot against the Patriots than I am going and saying the Patriots are going to win by 2.5, 3, 4 points. It's not even a fan hedge. It's just a bet, a mindset. Too much love on the Patriots. Raiders, if this was mid-season, I would say no way, because it's a West Coast team going east, playing at 10 o'clock body clock-wise. But that's not where this is week 1. First game of the year. In the first game of Ashton Genty's career. Raiders +3. Yes, I love Josh McDaniels. I love it. I agree. Let's see what it is in October. In September, there might be some growing pains for the Patriots out of the gate. I'm taking the Raiders +3. Titans and the Broncos. We talked about with Adam. Everyone's survivor pick. My survivor pick. Titans are garbage. 8.5 though. Oh my. We laying 8.5. I just would take it with survivor. That's the survivor play of the week. Everyone is going to be on it. Every single person or book is going to need the Titans to win that game or cover. I don't think it happens personally. I smoked my lunch. What do you mean I smoked my lunch? Gino is Chip Kelly. I like Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly it's a homecoming for Chip Kelly. You know how many people are going to be there for Chip Kelly at Foxborough? It's going to be stupid. I'm in the state. I'm sitting in Chip Kelly's home state. Everyone in New Hampshire is going to empty out. They're going to be cheering for the Patriots, but they're going to be cheering for Chip Kelly too. So, like, they're going to run the rock. They're going to run the rock. Both teams are going to run the rock in that game. I just think you survivor it with Denver. Bengals and the Browns. Screw it. Give me the Bengals. Lay the points. They can't do it 3 years in a row, can they? Can they really lose to an inferior opponent 3 years in a row if you're the Bengals? All the talk about we're coming out fast. All the talk about we're playing in the preseason, that Joe Burrow played big snaps. It's all going to mean a fast start. Okay, I hate Zach Taylor, but fine. Let's go ahead and roll with it and trust the Bengals to cover a road number. Do not use that in Survivor, by the way. Do not. You got some serious balls if you're going to use that game in Survivor and take the Bengals. After what they did last year, this is on the road, divisional game against the Browns, but I think the Browns suck. So I think they win. I think they win. Flacco, Flacco's the GOAT. No Patriot fan care for the Raiders. I don't know. Chip Kelly got a lot of family in this part of the country. CBW. Chip's from here. A lot of people are going to be down there as Pats fans, but give me the Saints in Survivor. Oh my, ish. Come on now, that's a bit much. And then finally under Steelers and the Jets. I got 39. 38.5, fine. But I mean, go shop, see if you can find 39s in the market, but I played the under even more so now with the news we talked about with the offensive line that we mentioned with the Elijah Vera Tucker injury. Elijah Vera Tucker going out for the year with that injured tricep for the Jets offensive line. Even more reason why I like the under in the game, under 38.5 for the Jets and the Steelers here. Too many questions. I don't trust Justin Fields. I don't trust this offense being run by, and look, maybe Arthur Smith is going to do great things with Aaron Rodgers, but I think DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers are going to have a tough time gelling early in the season together. Under 38.5 for the Steelers and the Jets. So those are the plays for us here throughout the entire NFL and college football seasons. If you guys need to rewind and go back and listen, go ahead and do that. You can just go and listen to see what picks and plays that I have made, but busy weekend. It's not a bad weekend to be laid up. I just don't know if I'm going to be able to, if I could stay awake. Like, this is my concern about how much football there is to watch is just how high am I going to be? Like the drugs they've already put me on. I think I'm on 5 pills after my surgery, and 3 of them are controlled substances. So we're gonna be flying high here. So will I be awake for the games? I don't know. Will I remember any of the games? I don't know. This is why I'm not working. I'm not doing the Daily Juice. I'm not doing BVB. I'm just going to be floating on a cloud somewhere mentally. So that's kind of the hope that I'm going to be okay and it's all going to work out for the best. But those are the plays on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank goodness there's football on. But these 8:00 kickoff times, what are we doing? It's so brutal. Like 8:00 kickoff times. The one good thing, my surgery is at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. So I'm supposed to be home by like 2 or 3. So I think after I get home after the surgery at like 2 or 3 o'clock, I can pass out for like 5 hours and then I can wake up and then the game starts. So like, that's it. Yeah. Loopy Matt might be fun. Hey, just if you see me going nuts on social media or on our Discord channel, mind your business. I'm high as a kite. If you see me saying some funny things, I'm not going to be able to do much though. Cause I can't, like, I could do talk to text. Like that's the thing I could do, but I can't really, I tend to like with both my hands. Can't do that. I have one hand for 6 weeks. I'm one-handed for 6 weeks. Nah, it's not going to be fun. It's going to be tough. Thank you, Corner Clubhouse. Appreciate that. It sounds like a good weekend. I don't know. I don't know. Hey, if you want to take Sean, if you want to take the Saints, if you want to take the Saints, go right ahead. Saints are at home against Arizona. They're catching 6.5 points. I know a lot of folks that like Arizona in the survivor pool, if you like that. So you can jump into that when you like. That number is going to be tough from a teasing perspective. A lot of folks are going to tease Arizona down. I can't. And I talked to Raheem Palmer from The Ringer. I did a long interview with him, and he loves the Cardinals this year. He thinks they're going to shock some people. I'm not on board. That's a teaser. That 6.5 is a teaser number. You pull it down to a 0.5 point, and all the Cardinals have to do is win the game. And then Sean has this stat: Saints have won 6 straight openers, longest in the NFL. The Cardinals have lost 3 straight. It's not a crazy. I like trends. Not a crazy day. Poor Amanda. What do you mean, poor Amanda, Joel? She's taking care of me. It's why I'm here. I'm here until the 20th of September. Yes, I'm going to be a pain in the ass. There's absolutely no debate. I'm going to be a whining little baby for about 4 to 5 days. There's no debating that. It's going to suck. It's going to absolutely suck. For basically, they told me 72 hours. By the time I get through 3 days, I should begin to start to feel a little better. But the first 72 hours, I've been told to just suck it up and deal with it because it's going to suck. And I'm not going to sleep. Going to be in pain. Going to be high as a kite. So, is what it is, unfortunately, for this. Before we get to my favorite thing about today, let's talk about some pretty big news. Kind of news of the industry, but kind of just like news in general, but it does affect gamblers. News of the industry. Did you guys see this? It broke today. Stream East has been shut down. 2 guys in Egypt have been arrested. 80 unauthorized domains have been seized in the world's most massive sports piracy ring to be taken down ever. Dana White got his way. Dana White has been talking about Stream East and taking down Stream East for almost a decade. This website, billions of views every year. Billions. Now, it is kind of like a whack-a-mole deal, right? Like, you just take down Stream East and somebody else will pop up, right? But that is a site that if you're somebody who likes to watch sports and you're somebody that did not like to have to pay for that access, you at least a little bit found your way to Stream East at least once or twice. And the fact that got taken down, that was an international investigation to take that down. But there probably isn't anybody happier on the planet this morning about that news than Dana White in the UFC, right as they take down the pay-per-view model. But one of the reasons the pay-per-view model has gone away is because of websites like Stream East, because they'd have 4 to 5 different streams going. So if you took down one stream, they had another one. And they bounced it through 4 to 5 different channels and networks, Sky Sports, or different channels in Europe or Asia. And they would, put soccer matches up, and they would put boxing matches up, and they would put cricket matches up, and tons and tons of sporting events that were on a pay-per-view level were put up. they'll be back in some capacity. How? I mean, the guys who are the owners or the masterminds are arrested. They got arrested today. So I don't know how it comes back, but Stream East, streameast-ish.com. That's pretty good. I don't think they'll be back, but somebody else will take them. Yeah. Hopefully a new one pops up like today. There'll be somebody. Yeah. There'll be somebody else will jump right in and grab a hold of it. Go, let's go Stream West. Yeah. Somebody else will come back and take its place. But that was pretty big news today. If you ever bet on a game that you don't have access to on a pay-per-view level or a boxing fight or UFC pay-per-view, most likely you found your way at some point in time to a Stream East stream. And that going down today was a wow type moment for that to happen. Favorite thing about today as we wrap. My favorite thing about today is you guys and the number of you guys who have DM'd me and wrote me messages, you guys in the chat right now. I really do appreciate all the well wishes and everybody really, telling me to, hey, don't rush back, take your time. I don't do well being idle. I also don't do well when I'm not doing long form content. Like it's very much part of who I am. I'm very lucky to get to do what I do. Ooh, hey, sorry, here we go. I'm very lucky to do this job. I'm lucky to work for Betting Pros. I'm lucky to be able to teach at UNLV. And, there are a lot of people in the world that make a ton more money than me. But I'm not sure how many people in the world enjoy their job and career choices as much as I do, and how much I have loved every day of the struggle, if you will, all the anxiety and the stress and everything that comes with being involved in a content creator world, right? The uncertainty, the inconsistencies, everything that comes in, right? And then, you go and find sponsors like Cut and Plannatech, and we get Sim on yesterday, and we get Adam Bjorn on today, and we have people that are willing to step up and help the show. And again, if you guys have chances to use their products, I hope that you guys would do that, because that's what keeps us alive. If you're going to join, a survivor pool, if you're going to join a contest, that you join our contest as well as others, but you join ours to have ours be funded, have ours be good. That's the way we keep the show free, right? That's the way we keep the show alive, and we don't go to a pay model, speaking of Stream East, right? And put it behind a paywall. I never want to put anything I do behind a paywall. I don't want to. I don't believe content, and I'm from a radio world, right? In the new modern era, people believe you should pay for people's time, right? Buy a subscription. Everybody wants you to pay for a subscription. Paramount Plus, ESPN Plus, all the different ones that are all out there, Netflix and Amazon and Hulu. And I don't know how many subscriptions I have. I hate it. And I was all for streaming, and I was a very early cord cutter. And I think it's great that we have all this streaming and mobile options to see stuff. But for my own content, because I came up through radio, the idea of somebody paying money to access my content has never sat well with me. And I've never been okay with it. I've always been like, no, my job is to build a show that has an audience, that people want to sponsor, that sponsors want to put their brand in front of you guys, and they want to associate with the content that I am creating. It's up to me to create the content that will attract both the audience and the support from businesses. So the idea of putting everything behind a paywall and saying, okay, I'm going to charge you guys $5 a month to get the show, I can't. I don't care how much money it would bring us. It doesn't sit well with me. And so I always want my stuff to be free. Well, the only way that happens is if we have sponsors that are willing to keep it going, so I can keep the job and keep paying the bills. And, I have to pay for my own internet. I have to pay for a lot of things. The show's not free to do. We have to pay for things to keep the show alive. And right now it's just me. So it's all of the work is just me all the time, all the prep, everything, meetings, sales calls, marketing, pushing, all the clips, everything you're seeing, it's entirely all me. So until Dave comes back, this is just the life. And I can't thank you guys enough for giving me the chance to do it, because without you guys being here, I'm talking to myself and that's it. And I love talking to myself sometimes, but not professionally. Professionally is more fun to have you guys be a part of it and watching it, whether you're on Instagram right now watching, on Twitter watching, on YouTube watching, or someone on the replay on YouTube going back and watching it after the fact. Thank you for giving two shits about what I do, say, and present from a content creator perspective. It means the world to me. And taking 2 days off in football season is something that I never have done before, but I have to go get my chest fixed, because right now I can't lay down on my back and extend my arm. I can't bench press air, to give you an idea of how messed up my pec is. So it's going to be 6 months to 8 months before I get back to being able to do stuff like that. But all I want to be able to do is box and golf. That's it. And those are the two things I love the most in my 40s now, and soon into my 50s. Those are the two physical activities that I want to be able to do for another 20 years. And so I'm doing the surgery tomorrow to be able to give myself the chance to be able to golf and box for the next 20 years. So 6 months of pain to give myself, 19 and a half years of being able to do those things and being as active as I want to be in my 50s more than anything. So, yeah, tomorrow's going to suck. So favorite thing about today is you guys and the support and the interest, and you guys keeping the show alive during this new iteration. This is not what this show was supposed to be, as I've been saying for a while. I know it's different. And for folks that come in on the chat and say this show sucks without Dave, yeah, this show sucks without Dave. Like, next, like, what else do you want me to do? Like, we have jobs. I have a job. I have a family. I have bills. I have things I have to take care of. And I have invested 4 years of my life into this. And life sucks. Life happens. Bad breaks happen. And Dave getting sick was something none of us could have predicted and none of us thought could be possible. But it happened. And it's how do you deal with those things when you're handed, if we're going to believe and preach always forward, never straight, we have to understand that we're in the never straight period right now. And so we have to move forward. And we do that. We honor Dave and we respect what has been done on this show by keeping it going and being here when he comes back, being here for him, being here when he needs us, and being here. Hopefully he will one day be back on this program and he'll be with us. When that will be, I have no idea. I have no clue. But it's just to keep it going for as long as we can, for as long as I'm able to do it. And we have sponsors that can keep the show alive to make it justifiable. And so I find the sponsor, I bring the sponsor. Your role in that is to use the sponsor. Like, that's the role that I'm asking from you guys. If you have a choice, if you're going to use a peer-to-peer platform, use Cut. If you're going to use a book, go find a Plannatech book, right? A Prime, a Bet Chris, someone who uses Plannatech. We'll get further into like what Plannatech is and what Adam is doing. We'll get into that a little bit later on. It was just too chaotic today because he was like, I'm coming from the airport. Let's just talk football. I was like, okay. It's like later in the season, when it's like a slower week, we'll spend some time talking about Plannatech. So we'll do that later on in the year. But for this one, it was just like, let's just talk football. So my thanks to Adam Bjorn. My thanks to you guys. Again, no show Thursday and no show Friday. Hopefully, if everything goes well, back on Monday, 1:00 Eastern time for a Sling and me version of the Bostonian versus the book.